Welcome back to the channel. Really appreciate those that are subscribing and liking. It helps to grow this channel, and that's ultimately what we want to do. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe and hit that like button. Today we're going to talk about the one big beautiful bill. We have gotten so many questions, and this bill has really generated a ton of interest since it was passed on July 4th of this year. So number one is, what is it making permanent? So when we say making it permanent, the previous tax bill was in 2018 called TCJA, which is the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. That was during Donald Trump's first administration. So a couple things that this bill will make permanent is number one, lower tax brackets, okay? Number two, the increase in the standard deduction. Every year the standard deduction goes up, and for 25 that will be no different. For single, it's jumping up to $15,750. For married, it's $31,500. Again, that's standard deduction. You just get that without even itemizing. You just get that for being single or married. It's a pretty good jump. And then finally, the child tax credit is going up a couple $100. It is going to $2,200 per child rather than $2,000. And that is, again, age 16 and under to get the $2,200 child tax credit. If you are 17, if your dependent turns 17 in 25, you are going to miss out on that. You'll qualify for the other dependent credit, just the bigger child tax credit we won't get. Number two, what are above the line deductions? I actually heard a guy on News Nation last night, as a professor at NYU, I think, actually messed this up. So I want to get this straight. They were talking about some of these above the line deductions, and they were saying that unless you itemize, you're not going to benefit from those. Well, that's not what an above the line deduction is. So when you hear above the line deduction, think the line is adjusted gross income. So on page one of your return, you put in all your income, and then you do put a handful of income deductions. And at the bottom, it calculates your adjusted gross income. And that is calculated before the standard or itemized deductions. And then, of course, before any taxable income. Okay, so just by filing a return, you're going to qualify for these above the line deductions. So what are those? Okay, this is the no tax on tips, Social Security, overtime, some of the others, and all of these are above the line deductions. So again, whether you itemize or not, it does not matter. You are going to qualify for these. Now, all these are subject to income thresholds. So I believe that if it's single and you make $150,000, or married, if you make $300,000 or more, these are going to phase out or go away altogether. But the first one is the no tax on tips, okay? And you can look at irs.gov and go to a pretty substantial list of what are tipped employees. Most people think of restaurant workers, so we'll just stick with that. So again, the no tax on tips, the above the line deduction is a maximum of $25,000. Okay, so if your tips are $24,000, you get to deduct $24,000 right off of your gross income before any taxes are assessed. Okay, again, maximum of $25,000. And let me stop here real quick. So it's going to be up to your employer to notify you of what those qualifying tips are. It may be a change in the W-2 form, or it may be a supplemental form or an amendment to your W-2, but they are responsible for letting you know what these qualifying tips are. Okay, no tax on tips, $25,000. The next one is no tax on overtime. Again, your employer is responsible for notifying you of what that overtime calculation would be for 25. But the deduction for no tax on overtime is $12,500. Again, a maximum. So if you made 10 grand in overtime, you get to deduct 10 grand off of your income before any taxes are assessed. The next one, this is a new one, is interest on a new automobile loan. Okay, now there's a couple things here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but the maximum interest deduction on this new car loan is $10,000. There are a couple of parameters, as you can imagine, to qualify or define what is a new car, but it's basically a brand new car, not a used car. brand new car bought in 25. It is subject to some other parameters, but the biggest one being that the final assembly must be done in the US. Okay, and again, the IRS.gov has a substantial list of vehicles that qualify for this interest deduction on your taxes. Again, final assembly in the United States, but the deduction is a maximum of 10 grand on a brand new car, the interest on that loan. Next one is no tax on Social Security. Okay, now obviously this one is for people that have turned 65 or older in 2025. The deduction for that is $6,000 per person. So if you're a married couple in your 70s, you get to take 12 grand off of your income before the taxes are assessed. Okay, so again, $6,000 for folks that are 65 or older is an income deduction before taxes are assessed. And then the last one, this one kind of is familiar to folks that filed returns for the few years during COVID. It's an above the line charitable deduction for $1,000 if you're single, $2,000 if you're married. Again, you get to deduct a maximum of that off of your taxes and do not have to itemize. Okay, so if you do not itemize, but you gave 2 grand away to charity and you're married, you get to take that off of your income before taxes are assessed. Okay, so real quick on those are the above the line deductions. Again, I cannot stress it enough. They do not matter if you itemize or not. You are going to get those if you file a return. Okay, last item is just other items, just to kind of highlight here. So the first one is an increase in what they call SALT taxes. This is for folks that itemize. SALT is just an acronym for state and local taxes. In previous years, it was a cap of $10,000, and that really hurt a lot of people that lived in, high property tax areas like California, New York, up in the north. For 25, it is going to be increased to $40,000, so you can deduct a maximum up to a max state and local taxes of $40,000 on your Schedule A for itemized deductions. The next one is this credit is actually going away. If you like bluegrass, and I do, there's a great bluegrass song called Gone, Long Gone, and I'll save you from any more singing, but this one is going away. It is the credit for EVs, okay? For several years, there was a $7,500 credit if you bought a new electric vehicle. That one is going away as of September 30th. So if you bought an EV in 25 prior to September 30th, you will get that. If you bought it on October 1st, you are out of luck. No more credits for EVs. The next one, this one is going away as well. So gone, long gone, more bluegrass, is the energy efficient credits for home improvements. Those would be your lights, doors, windows, energy efficient roofing, appliances, washer and dryer, hot water heater, HVAC, things like that. They are going away, but you do get those in 25. So if you still want to replace some windows, you got 6 weeks to do it, and you will lose out on those credits. And those credits are nice because it's 30% of the total cost of the energy efficient property, up to a maximum, I think, of about $3,400. A couple more and we'll wrap this up. 1099 threshold used to be forever. The 1099 threshold was $600. That is increasing, but it's not increasing until next year. So this doesn't take effect until 26. But that 1099 threshold is $2,000 rather than $600. So if you pay somebody $1,900 to do some work for you, you do not have to 1099 them. It's only for $2,000 or more. But again, it does not go into effect until 26. Last one is adoption credits. I've been doing this about 25 years. I think I mentioned in my first video. I have done 2 adoption credits. So I know this doesn't affect very many people, but the way the adoption credits used to work is you could take the amount of your adoption and you could transfer that or convert that to credits, and you could take that for a maximum of up to 2 years. So if you exhausted some of them in year 1, in year 2, the remaining credits would carry forward, and you could use it then, but only a maximum of 2-year carry forward. What the OBBB law has said is you can take a refundable credit, refundable meaning you can get that money actually back as refund, up to $5,000, okay? It doesn't affect a lot of people, I know that, but for folks that are adopting, it is a great credit. You will still get the 2-year carry forward. It's just you can make up to $5,000 refundable, which again, refundable means it turns into actual cash that comes back to you in the form of a refund, okay? One big, beautiful bill explained very quickly. We appreciate your support. Again, if you haven't already, like and subscribe. You can find us on Facebook at Paycheck Plus and on the web at paychecks-plus.com. Again, that's Paychecks, Paychecks-plus.com. Again, like and subscribe. We appreciate all the support. If there's any questions about the One Big Beautiful Bill, hit me up in the comments. Send them to me. I would love to answer them. So appreciate y'all again. Thank you for your support. We'll see you next time. Until then.